There we go. We are live.
Ooh, wow.
We're back.
3 levels. Yes. I think I have to actually raise my levels. I was finding out when I was editing the last podcast,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
which is interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hello. We are back with this month's podcast.
mhm.
And for once, it's not just me streaming Elden Ring. So, we
Yeah.
have guests today.
Hey everybody.
What
You
up?
might remember me from your worst fucking nightmares. It's gonna be back. Gonna be back.
It's gonna be good. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're bringing back NWO.
Oh man. R.I.P. Razor Ramon.
Oh fuck,
know.
man.
One of the
Shit.
best villains ever.
Mm.
Yeah, let me turn
Damn
down a
it.
bit.
I mean, in wrestling age, that's pretty old.
It is. That's the kind of tough part to explain explain to people.
Yeah.
How old was he?
50 something,
Fuck me.
right? I don't know. Let's see. Oh hell yeah, dude! That just washed out my face. Never. Scott Hall was 1980. Oh no, that was his debut. Was in 84.
The future.
Born in
63.
1958. Holy shit!
Damn,
No, he is.
63.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Wow, 63.
that's really old for wrestling.
He's like 100.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Is that-
Okay. Well, that was a downer way to start the podcast. I know the last podcast started out pretty as a downer, but for real, shout out to Scott Hall. I hope him and his family are doing well, or his family and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what have y'all been up to? Because we kind of have a hard time limit today, so no real cold open. I'm gonna let you and Ian talk for a bit. If we have time, I have like 2 movies and Elden Ring to talk about, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Why don't you start us off this time? I would love for you to do the honors, please.
Are you talking to
me?
me or Nick?
I'm talking to Nick.
Okay, yeah.
Why would
Yeah,
I be
Nick-
talking to Nick? I don't even understand.
Oh, yeah.
Nick wasn't even here last night. Yeah, so you take it off.
Yeah.
Take it.
So I'll just, some of the stuff Chris consumed also overlapped with mine, so I'll make mine quick.
Okay.
I recently finished watching this one anime from the guy who made Welcome to NHK. It's the show he did right before it. It's called Haibane Renmi. I think that's how you say it. It's a very weird show. It's a very emotional, weird show because it's the guy who did NHK, but the music is done by Kao Otani from Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. So it's incredible, like from the get go, music wise.
Okay.
And I think I would compare how to describe it. It's like,
I don't know.
you know how? Oh, Chris. Okay, Chris. You know how? I can't say anything, can I? But you know how?
No. But go on.
Fight!
You know, on The Good Place, they had the moment they started the new paradise with the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this time skip until they find the closure, right?
Yes.
Right.
What if you saw the story in between the infinity, like between them creating the door and then them walking through it? Because I think that's what the show is at its core. It's more closer to the last couple episodes of The Good Place, where it's essentially about finding closure in your afterlife and trying to find meaning, even when you're told like you cannot find quote unquote salvation, like you cannot find closure because of the things you've done in your past.
Okay.
Like for instance, in the show, there's a constant ongoing thing where every character receives their wings and halo depending on how they died.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So some while they all receive their wings on their back, they tend to receive that. They tend to have dreams of how they died, and some were like stabbed in the back, so the wings would like grow specifically in the back. Some would like be like murdered, so some would be late bloomers for the wings.
What if I was stabbed in the leg and I died from like artery?
Oh, then you're like then you got like wings on your heels and
Okay, that's what I
Hermes
want. That's what I needed
style.
to know.
Tight,
If it would
tight,
go
tight, tight.
anywhere else. Yeah.
no, I mean it's a
What if
very
I had a
it's
brain
slow burn.
aneurysm?
I mean, the aneurysm, wings in your head.
Yeah.
And wings in your head.
What if I was smushed like a boulder?
Then you just become feathers. That's Orphan
It's
style.
just a puddle. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if suffocation? I guess chest,
No breathing.
throat. That's right.
Oh.
Don't you do it. Twitch is gonna come down on us. I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead. I just need.
No, it's cool. That was pretty funny.
Oh, thank you.
There's, by the way, listeners, if you don't know, the best response someone can get to a joke is, "Oh, that's funny."
That's funny. Yeah.
Or like you have a really emotional idea and they go, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I think that's entertaining.
Oh wow.
Like
Yeah.
you're wiping a tear off your face and like, yeah, that's funny.
I can work with that.
I can see how people might like that.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I definitely prefer his style over a lot because it's more subtle. I think NHK is actually more out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess my question is now: do I like it more than Welcome to NHK? Because Welcome to NHK is like pretty.
Fucking great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
I think it's his best work. I think as much as I love Zero Experience Lane or this show, I think NHK is still his best one.
Now I want to ask you where it is tonally, just because Welcome to NHK is heavy, but
Yeah.
manages to kind of break that up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
Serial Experiments Lane is the saddest thing that ever happened to anyone.
Yeah,
So where do you feel it falls kind of like tonally in that way?
it might be in between. I think the way you describe both, I think it's in between because,
Okay.
Mm.
like the overarching story is very dark and also deals with like how people treat you when they find out certain things about you. And well, the overall tone is like it's weird because it's every episode's structured like slice of life, but then it ends with and then she walked through the wall and then she stopped existing.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it definitely doesn't help that most of the cast are like children, so it's more about like
Why didn't you
figuring
say
out.
that? Why didn't you say
Well, because most of them are like,
children?
because it implies that most of the people there are children that die.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, it's a bummer. There's kids. It's like Gundam. They need to explode. But
Yeah. That's what I say.
And so
Thunderbolt's so
the kids
good.
get it.
I've got another question related to kind of you compared it to The Good Place. Do you think that this show is also kind of is it meditative in a kind of like search for meaning set? Is the show actually about like, oh, what is life about? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Like, man, you can tell what shows came out when this was airing. Like, man, you can tell how big of an impact Neon Genesis had. Just everything after.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, okay, the end credits. The end credits literally just fly me to the moon.
No. Okay.
But it's like literally the character floating in a space and under the ocean, and then it's like playing the outro.
Okay.
Wait, what song is it playing though?
Oh no, sorry, not literally "Fly Me to the Moon" the
Okay.
song, but
Moon
it's a song
River.
by Kawakami. Moon
Oh,
River.
okay.
Oh,
Swing
okay.
Low, Sweet Chariot.
Swing low, sure.
But the only way I was sold on the show is like this random scene where she, one of the main characters, gets her wings, and it's super graphic.
Okay.
For like these 10 seconds is just really brutal.
Mm.
Okay.
But yeah, I think overall it's a great show. It's definitely more subtle.
Yeah.
And definitely more subdued. But I do like that style more.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. So you had said that it Eva influence. How old is the show? Is this like early 2000s?
Yeah, 2002.
2000. Okay. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, so that'd be right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 years right after Serial Experiments Lane, and then he
Oh.
did NHK a couple years later.
Yeah.
I think because that was when he went on the hiatus and like just did photography for like a decade.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, music's gorgeous because it's Kawatani, so shout out
Sure.
Colossus. But yeah, it's a great show. I think the writing's there and the characters are really interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's just really good at character arcs, especially in NHK. Just the way he has the meltdowns.
Mm.
Yeah. I should go back and watch NHK because, like, the only part that bugs me is the age gap.
How
between
old
the
is
two.
he?
Oh yeah,
That dude, he's like middle age, right? Yeah.
Oh fuck! Is he like 30 something, 40 something? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's-
I know. That's like the only thing that I ever, because I really liked Welcome to the NHK when I watched it.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking up how
he's
old
22.
the character, huh?
He's 22.
Oh, he's
That's
22.
bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's
That-
22.
That dude looks like he's fucking 30. I hate that. I don't like.
Oh yeah, yeah, Chris.
I don't
Look
like
older.
that.
All age as well as you have, I guess.
Yeah, dang, Chris. Dang.
I didn't
Chris,
want
look-
him to be younger than me. Well, when I watched it, I was younger than him, so I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
it works out.
Well, hang on. How old is
The
Misaki,
girl's
right?
like Misaki's like 16, isn't she?
She's a high schooler,
Yeah.
I think. Still not okay.
Still not great.
And I know Japan has the different thing. I know, but
Hmm.
Sorry,
you
I still feel that way.
yeah, still
Oh, yeah,
got that.
I remember reading the manga even after we watched the show, and like it gets worse because he gets addicted to heroin and gains like 50
What?
pounds. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
that's right.
I would have loved to watch that, but yeah.
All right.
Obviously, that didn't make the cut.
A lot of Bob Dylan records playing, and anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Uh.
what other stuff you checked out, Nick?
Yeah, so I'm halfway through the game, so I'm definitely gonna add more to it. I'm halfway through the game Unsighted, which is a very stressful
Yeah.
game, which is clearly a
It
very
sounds so
ambiguous
not
game.
fun, dude. I don't know.
Okay, Ian.
Oh, go ahead.
What is it? Tell me more.
Well, let me pitch it to Ian, Chris, because this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a game. It's a game that's kind of like it's a dungeon crawler, and it's all pixels, super nice. The thing is that the premise is everything and everyone in the game has an actual in-game like real-time timer on them. So there's a clock below them.
Okay.
And the only way to get more time is to get high-ranking matches, and to also get batteries to recharge some people. But however, there aren't enough batteries for everyone in the game, so you have to select who you want who you want to give more time to. That means every shopkeeper, every NPC, every quest builder, every armory.
Nick, I'm sorry. Hang on. Ian, what's going on?
Are you shuffling?
Yeah. What?
Oh, sorry.
I hear
Sorry,
a
I
lot of
was
stuff moving.
I'm sorry. I was moving some things. Forgive me. Sorry. Continue. I was listening.
Sorry, no, it sounded like boxes. Well, no, I just had to do it for the audio, but it sounded like boxes were just being like picked up and stuff.
I had a stack of books that I moved from one table to a different table.
Damn, that's a lot of books. Sounds like a lot of books.
Well, there we go. Now that we're done calling out Ian, Nick, go ahead.
Yes. So it's a very stressful game, to a point where the game in the beginning tells you the recommended route to go to finish quest, because when you first play the game, you don't know how long each quest is going to take in actual time. So they have a recommended, this tends to take players a lot of time. This tends to take players a lot of time.
Okay.
But the game does tell you you're free to try everything and anything in the game. But again, you and everyone is on a timer, so you better like figure it
Yeah.
out
Oh
because
yeah,
you
you
just
can
can't.
do whatever. You can let them all die if you want to.
Yeah, you can just sit
Why?
there.
I mean, if you're a bastard, I mean, we're not telling you what to do. Okay.
So like, what's the goal? What's the if it's a dungeon crawler, right?
What's the motivation?
Yeah.
Essentially, you're how do you describe it? You're a character that is it's a big cliched. You're a character that's trying to rekindle her past, or like, and she's trying to save an old data data copy of her one of the soldiers she worked with,
Mhm.
who
Okay.
recently passed from a war between the humans and from machines.
Ooh.
And given that the main character is an android, created by humans to kind of like make a connection with the machines.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It kind of unravels the more you go into these dungeons and find out that a lot of them are destroyed labs,
Okay.
destroyed like factories
Mhm.
from the wars. But yeah, it's really good. The mechanics are actually a lot more fun than I thought they'd be because there's a like directional parry and
Yeah.
you can like add on a lot of move sets,
Hmm.
which is really cool. But yeah, I think it's just a timer thing that'll put everyone off.
Oh yeah, I'll never play it. I'll
It's
never
really
play it.
fun, but yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if it's fun. I don't care if the reward's worth it. I will never play it. That sounds like the most stressful thing in the world. I think I would be paralyzed with choice, like with decision making.
Yeah.
And don't give me the thing of
Congratulations.
what's like in life. Everyone's on a timer. You have to do stuff before they die.
Oh yeah, the
And to
Gran
that, I
Turismo.
say, well, I am very good at disillusioning myself. So
Yeah, I'm not too big on the if I can make it like real life, it's better.
Oh, I hate that shit.
Mhm.
I hate that shit. You know
Like
what
the
I
Gran
love?
Turismo.
You know what I love about video games? Uh,
They're not
I
real.
love dealing with my awful situation with like the worst parts of my life in the form of a video game.
Oh yeah, so like, what if you want to bang your teacher, for instance, and she rejects you, huh?
Oh, that's funny, and I think you deserve that. But
Yeah.
no, I'm thinking of stuff like the thing I was telling you with the new Gran Turismo game,
Mhm.
Oh
where
yeah.
the guy came out and said some cars are going to be more expensive than others because in real life, more cars would be more expensive than others
Fuckers.
for our microtransaction, and we want to feel like there's a rarity between what players have, and only certain players can get certain cars because they have the amounts of money for it.
I fucking hate that so much. So much.
Fucking dude. Oh my god, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking of, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, but you like the game.
No,
You like,
that's the thing. Like, if you can get past it, it's actually a really fun character action game.
okay.
The issue is just that premise that it's not for everyone. Dude, if you can't even handle Dead Rising, I couldn't handle Dead
Oh
Rising.
no, I can't handle Dead Rising 2. Dead Rising 2, I can't handle.
Dead Rising 2,
I
okay,
hated
Dead
it.
Rising 2 is actually the worst.
I hate it. I hate it so
Even 3
much.
fixed it.
Yeah, I couldn't be. I like tried that game. I just no
Yeah.
Mhm.
hated it.
Oh man.
But yeah, yeah. Okay. So what else did you play or watch or do?
Or
Stuff
things.
things.
I recently
Progress.
finished Toho Luna Nights. That's that Castlevania game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how's that?
You know what? It still holds up even after like all these years. And I can see why like it's still as downloaded and like as popular as it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um the fact that it's made by 5 people is mind blowing. The more I play
Mm-hmm.
it. So the game essentially takes every Castlevania, every Metroid from that era, from like the 90s to the 2000s.
Yeah,
And it's like, what if you can do everything but in the stop time?
but as a Toho
So
character
as total character, but also in the stop time.
in the stop time.
Right.
Okay.
So the time mechanics are actually really fun. Like there's a cool thing where like you can do abilities and then stop time, and within the stop time you can actually use them as platforming devices to
Yeah.
get like certain areas or certain items. I
Okay.
mean, like the music is really good. The music is still done by the same guy who did Toho, which is wild. Um,
Oh wow.
Huh.
yeah, he like put out some track. He did some tracks for this fan thing. I think it was the only thing he worked on for a fan thing, and that was wild.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's how I describe it. It's a lot. You know, what, it's slower than I thought it'd be. Like the motion,
Hmm.
I thought it'd be pretty fast. I thought it'd be a lot faster, but it takes some
No.
getting used to. Because in any other like Metroidvania, it would be like you're underwater all the time.
Oh, okay.
But I get why they did it because
Hmm.
later on in the game you gain more speed the more you level up. Like character naturally becomes faster, or
Okay.
like the walk cycle becomes quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, that initial one, like you'll feel it too. Like you'll move forward, and then it's like, are they in slow motion? Is my game working? And like, oh no, that's just how they move.
Oh. Not like
But I think I was telling Chris where I think it's unfair for me to give a critique on this because this definitely came out before all the Metroidvanias from all the Kickstarter eras in the 2010s, and
yeah. Before like the big
because
resurgence.
yeah, because now it's like I'm comparing it to something it wasn't even prepared for, or like didn't take consideration.
Yeah.
So
The problem
I
is
give
Hollow Knight exists now. The problem
yes,
is, yeah, Curse of the Blood Moon, Curse of the Moon
yeah,
exists now. Yeah, no. I know
Blasphemous.
what you're saying. The problem is Metroid Dread exists now. The problem is Super Metroid 2 for
Hmm.
3DS exists now, and like
Yeah,
it's
so
hard.
I know. Yeah, I'd be unfair to it.
Mhm.
The only thing I didn't really like overall was like how far the save points were, and also
Oh,
like
okay.
you know how like there's some spaces in those games where like you can heal or like
Yeah.
get like meters. So those are actually very scarce in this game. So like
Yeah.
everything's very spread apart. So
Yes.
and there's some areas that are like super tough. So
Hmm.
you could get good, but also it's like goddamn, like they really want you to get good.
Okay.
There's a bit of a learning curve, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
And the
mean
boss
that's
fights
just
are
that's
awesome.
just a video game, right? Like the learning curve. But
Yeah, the boss fights are awesome because
oh, that's good.
yeah, they're really fun.
Yeah.
Like what's cool is that all the bosses you fight are the main characters in all the Toho games.
What?
So
That's
you're
rad.
playing, yeah,
I'm not even a
like
fan of Toho, but that's pretty rad.
yeah. So you're playing the maid to the main villain, and you're acting like the second in command, fighting the main characters from
Uh,
previous Toho games, and
do
they're
you
using like
actually beat them, or is it one of those things of like, oh, I was brought down, but you didn't actually kill me. Now I'll leave.
okay,
Or do they beat your shit in and like because they're main characters and they have to live.
they oh man, dude, they kill me. Like yeah, they will like rip you apart. Like there's one with the I forget her name, but she's the one from the first Toho game, right? She has like the red skirt and like the red big bow, like
Okay.
big famous character. She like just rips you in half. Like she'll like it is brutal. Some of these animations are brutal
Oh
when you lose for some of these bosses, but
yeah.
yeah.
You're
But
a
what's
villain.
cool
You
is
don't
that they
deserve you don't deserve pity.
no, I am the hero. Shh, no,
I am the hero, therefore I will tear you to shreds.
no. But I thought that part was really cool,
Yeah.
and what's also is neat is that all the moves they do are against you are all the moves they do in their own games. So
Yeah.
all the power ups you get. So yeah, it's just a really fun game. It's longer than I thought it'd be, especially when you open up the map entirely.
Hmm.
I think I at least put in like 35 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
35, 40. If you want to open the map entirely and get all the items.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I do think the highlight is the boss fights, especially when you have the stop time
Yeah.
and like you're essentially just platforming around them when you get really good.
Mm-hmm.
And where are you playing that right now?
I mean, this game is on everything. So right
Okay.
now I'm playing it on Xbox Game Pass. I was playing for a bit and then they took it off.
Oh, they took it out. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always on sale. And it's like everywhere now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I will
sometimes
say.
especially
Oh, good.
I would say like yeah, sometimes it sucks when I'm in the middle of a playthrough, and then like they cancel it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I will say 35 to 40. What a paltry amount of time
Oh,
compared
what?
to my 110-hour Elden Ring save file.
Go for it, Chris.
Yeah, but
Tell us how
no,
bad
no,
it
I
is.
was gonna let you go. I like just putting in the foreshadowing.
No, okay. Well, audience, get ready for fucking Elden Ring watch.
Elden Ring. Well, they can on our Twitch channel right here if you
That,
want
that's true.
fun.
That's
6-hour streams. Doing them doing at least twice a week. So Nick, what else did you play or watch? Or do?
Um,
Or do? Or
or
experience?
or breathe.
Mm,
I'm
please.
trying to. Oh yeah.
Tell us about the time you touched grass.
I touch grass. I don't know. Some of the grass here is kind of nasty. I don't know what's in them.
Grass.
No, I
Tell
mean
me-
like trash. Like some people don't know.
Oh, I thought I thought you meant inside like it's a blade, right? It's a leaf. It's got
Yeah.
Oh,
cellulose.
I don't know what's in. Nail it.
boys, I think you'll find grass is God's hair. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Nick, yeah, what else, man? What else?
In terms of that, I think that's it. There's only like one topic I want to bring up for discussion.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If I mean, if there's time
Yeah,
to
go
talk
ahead.
about it, Ian,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
did you see
Yes.
the teaser trailers? Fully Cooley Shoegaze and Fully Cooley Grunge.
Oh
You
god.
need to shut the fuck up right now. How dare you lie to me in front of all these people and make me so excited?
There
For
it is.
real? You haven't seen?
Is that real? They're doing
Yeah.
a shoegazy? Fucking I'm genuinely hold on, I need to compose myself. I'm very excited.
You're having
Holy
a much
shit.
different reaction than I did. I'll tell you.
Oh my god. Well, listen guys. Furikuri 2 was not everything it could have been. Furikuri 3 was
No.
okay. Was okay.
This is different now. No.
The alternative was okay. The ending's good. I like the ending. However, I don't know, man. It's just none of it's captured the magic. I don't. I mean, we've talked about it, right? Fully Cooley doesn't really need.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be continued.
Yeah.
They could have left it be and it would have been a perfect little piece of something.
Yeah. The original director and creator doesn't want anything to do with these.
Yeah.
It's for the money.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, okay. I will say this. Fully Cooley Grunge, I like the 3D that they showed off.
Mhm.
I didn't see the Shoegaze trailer. I thought they just announced that. I didn't know they came out with the thing.
Yeah, they just announced it. I don't know. You know what's weird? Every time
I will watch it.
yeah, I won't too. That's the sad part. That the thing also is whenever I met people who preferred progressive over the first one,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I think it's usually it all usually just comes down to progressive being more approachable and more like understandable to watch, like easier to watch essentially.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a
The
comment
fucking plebs.
Exactly.
Watching.
You can't say anything like.
I was
Like an
literally about
asshole.
to say not to sound like a snob, but and then you said the exact thing. I was
Yeah.
about fuck.
Fucking freak.
FLCL Grunge will be directed by Hitoshi Takakio from Appleseed 13. I've never seen it. I only ever saw.
Oh, that's those shitty 3D ones.
That's so
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I know it as, right? The really bad looking 3D one.
It sucks because the original is great.
Oh man,
It'll forever be the shitty one.
it's the 13. Shoegaze will be directed by Yutaka Umero. Is really their only thing they did alternative?
That was their first project.
Yeah, we talked about that. Like most of them, it was their first writing or directing project, and we talked about like, yeah, they didn't take any risk at all.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a co-production between Production IG and Studio Nut from FLC Alternative and Decadence. Yeah. Oh, Decadence is good.
Yeah, it was good. No, Decadence is good.
Decadence is good. One thing I always appreciate is that like the quote unquote twist, what would have been the big twist was like the second episode.
Yeah.
And then no, this is the setting we're messing with.
It's a good show.
That's wild. I'm gonna have to watch him either way. And I can only hope it's good.
Fingers crossed. I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna try to go in positive, like a positive attitude, or at very least not going, oh god, we're doing this again.
Which, if you did, we'd understand. Hey,
yeah.
You know.
And it's also like you can't go. You just you can't do the whole. Oh, it's not the original, because then it's a snobbery, and it's also like that defeats the entire purpose of the first show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which isn't. It's not something to get. It's something you either
to experience.
Yeah, it's experience. It's either for you or it isn't. Like.
Yeah.
I think like there's always this thing of like, oh, do I get it? Do I not get it? Is it like, am I smart enough to get it?
Yeah, and we did big podcasts talking about the other two.
Yes, we did.
FLCL. So I'm not gonna go like reiterating the thoughts I had, especially with progressive and how I think he kind of just drops everything and doesn't.
I was asked about.
Doesn't, and is just introducing ideas rather than talking about them.
Yeah, there had been this kind of idea that we thought that these stories would be more related, I guess, and then at the end of it all, each season feels like a standalone story. They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, weird universes and all that.
And then they introduce like this character where you think, okay, she must be important. They're giving her a lot of time.
Sure are.
And she's nope. They're just not gonna address her ever again, I guess.
That's
okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Cool.
It's cool. It's cool. It's okay. You know what? I'll sum it up real quick. I'll do an analogy. But if you want really like the meat of our discussion, go check out those past podcasts. The analogy being, it's like that guy you met in either college or high school, and some people thought he was a really deep, like stoner dude, but all he would say is, "What if, we talked with we walked on our hands instead of our feet?" And you go, "What does that accomplish?" I don't know. I'm just asking questions, man. I'm just putting ideas out there, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's fucking deep," and you feel crazy. That's what it feels like.
Yes, I can agree with that.
It feels like someone's just saying, "I'm just asking questions,"
and
not saying anything.
The show feels like here's another example of what it also feels like. It feels like you're in a public space, whether it's a marketplace or a bus station, and then like someone dressed in a period costume walks up to you and is like, "Is Halloween your favorite holiday too?" And then doesn't wait for you to respond and then runs away. And... What?
Huh. Yeah. Man, you want to hear something?
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Yeah, it's tough because
It's tough. It's very hard.
even if it's good, like I think that's the issue
Yeah,
is like the fact that it even exists, and I don't know
it's weird.
because then it's like what's the because like then you think the meta of like oh what's the purpose of it existing like progressive and alternative were
Money.
purpose because he ran out of cash and needed more money.
Yeah.
Where
But
the
it's
first
not. But the
one's like
original creator, I don't like, has so very little to do
oh he did yeah that's true
with these. So that's a weird one. It feels like a Toonami thing,
yeah
and I don't want to
Yeah.
be like bad mouthing those guys because I think they're actually doing really good work.
oh yeah they fought tooth and nail.
And they really do. They fought to earn their place. At least I think. I'm gonna find out like they did it or something.
Well,
um,
FLCL was like the moneymaker. Like
it was.
when that ran in 2000 and 2002, like that was the fucking shit that people were like, "Oh, we've got to start paying attention to all this other random shit that they're
Mhm.
also making." And
Yeah,
like
that's true.
so
We always
without
forget how big of an influence it had to
I
like the
mean,
big impact.
I think that Space Ghost and Brack
Hell
would
yeah.
have been they would have been college stoner shows, and they
Yeah.
would not have broken out. And they broke out. They were beyond that. They were not
Yes.
just that at their heights, and they fucking made the network in a
They
way.
did. No,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna have to watch it. Gonna need to know, and then we will probably have a big podcast talking about it.
I,
So hey, you know what? They're making content for money. We're gonna make content for like no money, but it will be content.
That'll be
Mm.
funny.
Y'all get ready for some content.
I will try to go with like more open mindedness.
yeah
However, that Appleseed thing didn't. Uh, I
Make
didn't
us
know
feel
that.
better.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That didn't make me feel better. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anything else, Nick, or was that just that was the thing you wanted to
To
ask? Yeah.
throw out.
yeah
Yeah.
to throw out and then pass it to you, Chris.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's go to Ian because, or no, let me do some because I know Nick and I overlapped on something
Okay.
on two at least two things.
Go ahead.
And then I have a question that I would like to ask Ian specifically by the
Okay.
end of this.
Where's Alaska?
Where's the yeah? I saw the anime since we were talking about anime. Super Crooks
Okay.
Yeah
on Netflix, which is the writer of Cowboy Bebop's last anime before she passed away.
Oh my god.
And it's good. Solid. It's a solid like anime. It's a fun ride. The style's great. It's based off a Western comic by George Miller, right? Or no,
Okay.
Frank, not Frank Miller. Is it George Miller?
Yeah.
uh,
You
George
mean
Miller.
the dude who was married to Marilyn Monroe?
Shut up. Is that true? I didn't know
No,
that.
not that. That's
Hang
George
on.
Miller.
Hang on.
You know what? Hang on. The guy who did Wanted, the guy who did fucking
Oh.
Kick-Ass
Oh.
comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not not the Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Mark Miller.
Not the Millers.
I was thinking of a different Miller. Okay.
Yeah, he came out. He pulled out his cane in his 70s.
Yeah.
Went to studio. I want to see those pictures move.
Bring me the Japanese. I want these pictures to move.
They talk funny, like the picture anyway. That'd be good.
Yeah. So anyway, the anime's great. It's really fun time. The style's great. The soundtrack is killer.
Yeah.
That intro is fucking fire. is what that.
Okay.
So is the outro. It's got like, so it's a superhero show, and it's a kid. It starts off with a kid, trying to be a superhero, but would end up like a small time villain, and we're talking like this dude's B tier or C tier, villain, and to the point where it's just all small time heists, like jewelry store robbery. So a lot of like, I have to say, there's a lot of like reference to like kind of like Silver Age or uh Golden Age comics. where it's that the small time villains and then superheroes who just beat the shit out
Okay.
out of them for doing these small petty crimes.
Did did you steal $100 from this man? I'm
Dude.
going to break your jaw.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Where
Like it's so brutal. Some of the ways they like treat these guys. So and what that show eventually becomes is a heist movie or
Okay.
a heist show.
Okay.
And it's fun and it's well thought out. The superhero world's fascinating. It's doing that thing where there's a league of superheroes and everyone's got to be kind of part of it.
Hmm.
Um, and villainy has been even capitalized upon, so you have to be part of that. You get assigned jobs for like a
Hmm.
commission fee,
Okay.
and the whole and it's so fascinating. But at its core, it's a heist movie
Okay.
with great characters, fantastic characters. Main characters lovable. You want him and uh, what's your Miss something? Casey.
Hmm.
So it's Johnny Bolt and Casey. You want them to succeed. You want them to, yeah, their relationship's gonna work out. Uh,
Hmm.
with Casey being like the real brains and probably one of the most interesting characters in that show. Um, it's great, man, to send up to stuff. Really great use of powers. There's
Hmm.
for instance, okay, so I'll throw like one thing without spoiling too much because I think part of the fun of the show is just seeing how they utilize stuff.
Okay.
Um, is okay. Two things. One, there's a guy who controls weather, right? Which we all know it's like one of the most overpowered things you can ever have
Yes.
if you're
Yeah.
smart enough to use it.
Yeah.
So one of the things is if it's raining, he just moves the cloud so it's never raining on him, and he
Oh.
never
Okay.
has to use an umbrella,
Okay.
which is the least inconspicuous thing, but like it's pretty funny use. Two, there's these two guys who regenerate their bodies no matter how destroyed it gets.
Okay.
So a lot of their scams are just starting fights in places, um, while stealing stuff in the chaos.
Okay.
Two, they'll just throw their bodies towards like gunfire, for instance, and they
Hmm.
can keep doing that no matter how long the turns are going
Okay.
because they'll just rebuild and keep going, and it'll be a slow progress, but they'll do it.
Right. Okay.
Um, it's just stuff like that. That's really I don't want to spoil it too much.
This is
But
on
if
Netflix. Yeah.
yeah, it's a Netflix show. Again, it's just solid. Like it's a solid. If I had to do the whole number thing, it's a solid 8.
Okay.
But
That's
it's
definitely
like
worth it.
you're gonna enjoy the ride. It's fun. It's a great use of superpowers. Kind of refreshing to see like a small villain take.
Hmm.
Like, because everyone's doing the evil Superman now or the villain,
Oh
um,
yeah.
overpowered, and the take of just these are small crooks. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more
Okay.
fun.
Okay. I think we've talked about the evil Superman and how like at least I'm kind of done. I don't need more evil
Yeah,
Superman stories. But
because we
that
got a
sounds
lot, dude. We have a lot now.
dude like and I keep getting recommended The Boys
Yeah, same
because
here.
I think that a lot of my shit is adjacent to it
Uh-huh.
and I really just can't every time I watch it I uh I don't know. It just kind of doesn't do it for me. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
haven't gotten into it yet either. Yeah, just because I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm sure it's good, but like, just not what I want to watch right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. And like, evil Superman's always I liked Invincible a lot, but I think the reason that gets to go with it is because it is like a father son story as well,
pretty much.
Yes.
Oh, dude,
and
like
I
man,
think the heart from that comes a lot more. Gives it a more like heart-wrenching heartbreak aspect to it.
Where can I? Oh shit! I don't know. If you're gonna watch The Boys, I don't want to spoil it for you, but
Okay. Well, The Boys seems a lot colder, if that makes sense. Like,
exactly. They essentially have a similar plot with evil Superman and his relationship with his son.
yeah.
And at the end of it, you don't feel heartbroken. You feel gross. Like,
Yeah.
you've just watched something kind of perverted happen,
Mm.
and that's just like, ugh, I don't.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, you know. So.
No, I hear you. Yeah. So maybe, and I still haven't seen Brightburn. I don't know if that's good.
Well,
that
I like
movie?
James Gunn, so
I do. I like James Gunn a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, Peacemaker is like one of the best superhero shows ever now.
it's
in my
so
opinion.
fucking funny. It's so good.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good it is. Like, and how well rides that line. Like,
Yeah,
oh wait.
and
Oh good.
and fucking Jason when he shows up in it, it's just
Yeah.
the fuck. How did you get this? This is a real celebrity.
It's good. It's although I like the Harley Quinn show a lot.
The
Personally.
animated one.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
And then MODOK's just my type of humor. Like,
It's Patton. It's Patton. You
it's
know?
Patton Oswalt. They're reading Patton Oswalt lines. And like,
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, I would argue there's no story, there's a comedy. I would argue it's probably the funny, like it's the one that matches my humor the most. Oh,
Yeah.
Peacemaker's up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. So now there's some good superhero shows going on, I think,
Oh yeah.
as
And
opposed to like previous stuff.
and also the Netflix is definitely going forward with more Daredevil and more Jessica Jones to start.
Yeah,
So
and I just hope they solve the problems those shows have that are
yeah.
just more and more. I think about it, kind of irks me because I never want to rewatch them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of done with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, Super Crooks is good. Small Time Villains. Go check it out. It's actually really good. Plus that fucking song. Those songs are fire. Holy shit. My type of music, I will say. And then, one thing I know me and Nick both watched. We saw Turning Red. In fact, I watched it
Me
again
too.
last night at
Let's
a party.
talk about it.
But
No.
Turning Red's really good.
It was actually
Yeah.
really good.
I was surprised how much I liked it. I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
So to everyone, it perfectly captures how fucking dorky and cringe you are when you're
Mhm.
that age, when you're 12 or 13,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a bunch of people who are also that
Yeah.
around you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess we can go into full spoiler if we all saw it, right?
Yeah.
So hang on,
Yeah,
let me do it. Let me do text. Let's add. Oh no. Discord text. Boom. Let's change that. Okay. Spoiler. Warning. I'm just gonna type in spoilers. Turning Red. For those on the audio, we will be spoiling Turning Red for, let's give ourselves how much, like 15 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. And for 15 minutes, starting now.
So where do you want to even start with this? I mean,
So it's a thing about puberty and she gets her period and
Mhm.
first time I ever seen maxi pads or pads in general on animated thing.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think I have. Yeah. Huh.
Never talked about it. They never use they never call it a period. They never say bleeding.
Yeah.
But
They say red lotus is blooming or something.
yeah, the red
like
lotus
that.
is bleeding, which
Okay, well,
I thought was really funny.
That's pretty good.
Good.
But yeah, just also kind of going back to the cringe thing, also like the boy crazy type thing, you know, where
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the boy
starting
bands.
to get into stuff, noticing boys. Oh, and of course everyone like memes that scene where she's writing fan fiction.
Yes.
And to
Yeah.
that, and to like all the fucking crazies that are like, what? Girls don't do that.
What are you talking
Yeah. They
about?
do.
That's
Yeah.
all
They
they
do.
did.
100%. Not even not like 80, not 99. 100% of all my women and girlfriends all wrote some form of fan fiction.
Mm,
And it's just a
mm.
question of what was it?
Was
Hey,
it
we're at a
text?
party.
Was it
Let's talk.
pictures?
What was it? We
Yeah.
literally had that moment last night. While I was watching this with a bunch of people, where we're like, okay, what was it? What was the? Oh, it's Hetalia. Oh, Full Metal Alchemist was out in that time. All right,
Okay.
it's 100%
Yeah,
hasn't failed me. It's been something like,
yeah. It's hard to meet people who hasn't really.
yeah, it's that is the realest thing. Like,
Yeah.
but kind
Yeah.
of. Oh, so go ahead.
I
Because I was
mean,
gonna talk about the mom, but
Oh yeah.
let's talk about the mom. That's what I was interested. I was excited to get to first.
yes,
Absolutely. Because I watched it with I watched it with someone who grew up in an Asian American family,
okay,
and so they had like a lot of like turn to me and like that's true. Oh
yeah,
no, that's real. That shit. That's yeah. So I felt very good about like I could relate to the characters definitely, but it was good to see like oh no, someone corroborating like no, this is a very accurate
yeah,
like parent child relationship
hmm
kind of thing that's being represented.
yeah,
Especially in that they drew attention especially to that early thing of like oh yeah, like getting your picture taken serving your family is a thing.
is the thing. That's
Yeah.
100% a thing. I've seen with
Yeah.
other Asian friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also like a universal thing of just overbearing parents,
That's true. Yes.
parent
Yes. I agree.
helicopter parents, parents who are always there,
Yes.
who are like, "Yo, you're hanging out with friends. Can I go too? Can I?"
Yeah.
Shit. Having said that, this is gonna be another moment of Chris watches a children's thing and doesn't relate to it because my parents were strict and it was like it did have the performance thing of like oh you couldn't get an A, you got a B
Mhm.
type deal. Um,
Yes.
and that I think actually comes from more of like being Hispanic and you got to perform a little bit better.
Yeah.
You got to have that
Yeah.
talk. But both my parents worked and they weren't around.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was like working within those rules as well as taking care of my siblings, learning how to cook, like, and become like self reliant, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God TV was around and movies, and I liked that stuff. So
TV saved my life.
TV said I learned the facts of life from the facts of life. Wouldn't you look at that? But I do know I did have a lot. I did know people who had overbearing parents like that
Yeah.
and were around.
Yeah.
And having talked to other Asian American friends, yeah, a lot of a lot of the experiences they would tell me has totally lined up with some of the stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
one of their house actually reminds me a little bit of a buddy of mine's house.
Okay.
That I know of, but I won't say much. And so going back to Mom,
Yes.
because I think Sandra O's performance, Sandra O and the who plays Mei Mei, because she's a new actor, she's a child actor.
Yeah, she's a new discovery they just
Yeah,
pulled.
both like 10 out of 10 performances. Could not,
Definitely.
could not, especially. Okay, it's Rosalie Shang.
Okay.
Um, Rosalie or Rosalie. It's either Rosalie or Rosalie. I'm sure I'm butchering that. Um, and then of course Sandra
Yeah.
as the mom. And by the way, that might be Sandro's best performance I've ever seen. Like that
She gets
felt
to do a
real.
lot. She
Oh,
gets to
she gets
do
to
like
do
a lot.
she. It's a wide swath and range,
Yeah.
like in this movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
to the point where I'm like, I think the mom might be the most like the best character, but
Yeah.
Maymay's like a real good exploration of that child, like
Yeah.
that type of thing. They're both fantastic, and they both kind of have to be because it's a mother-daughter story, and
Yes.
like it's about their relationship and that and what the next step is from a
Correct.
parental and child relationship.
Correct. Correct.
Um, and going off on your own, figuring out who you are, letting them make those mistakes.
Hmm.
Um, but also the bittersweetness coming from like literally the line is our like I kind of miss our old relationship, but this is what it is now, and we have to make it work
Yeah.
if we want
Yeah.
it. Which kind of leads to actually what I like most about this movie is the empathy of that. It's not because it would be so fucking easy to make the mom the villain, and
Yes.
as we've seen it done before, like throughout like 80s movies and 90s movies where the overbearing parent's always the villain and it's just kids trying to have fun.
Yeah.
um but no, it's not that. They both genuinely love each other and want the relationship to work, but they also have to be accepting of these differences, these changes.
Yeah.
And that puts a lot of strain on relationships, and I think that's the most real part of the movie.
Hmm.
um is that's what ends up happening to a lot of that's what ends up happening to your relationship with your parents, or at least if it's going to be healthy.
That you
Like,
have the expectation that you want to foster this, but you also need a sense of independence.
yeah.
Essentially. Yeah.
Like I don't like talking about my parents on stream, and I'll never go into like our stuff, but one of the things I always tell people is I think one of the bigger steps to figuring out your relationship with them is you have to remember they're human,
Yeah.
that they're not these super beings, they're not these perfect creatures, they're not these molded characters,
Yeah.
that they make mistakes, and they're getting old too, they're growing up with you.
Yeah.
um some people have kids at an early age. My parents were like fairly young,
Hmm.
well, by today's standards. Back then it was probably like average.
Yeah.
um but it's that and that's what I love about this movie so much,
Hmm.
is just this empathy with the mom and seeing her like generational trauma, her problem with her mom.
Yeah.
uh and in fact I was talking about like I think the question was brought up when we were watching the movie at the party last night, which is, yo, why is Sandro's panda so big?
Hmm.
And then I literally think it's a scale of like emotional trauma or like and how
Oh
bad it
shit.
was with her mom. Because
Oh, I
all
didn't.
the ants are pretty much the same size, and they all have a really good relationship with the mom.
Yes.
They're all still hanging out. That's all they do. Which, by the way, that's not just an Asian American thing. I like that happens all the time.
Oh
That
yeah.
happens with my
Uh,
fucking family
the
today.
ants.
Like that stuff.
Mm. Mm.
Um, but also it also indicates maybe they had it pretty good,
Hmm.
all things
Hmm.
considered.
Could have been a
Like,
lot worse.
yeah, the fact that she gets an opportunity to be herself is wild.
Yeah.
It's important, but I knew, but man, shit wouldn't fly with some some people
Hmm.
I know.
Wow. Well,
Um, but
it
yeah, I
makes
feel
me
like I've
kind
been
of.
talking a lot about the movie. What would you all?
Well, I really liked that look at that kind of moment in history.
Yeah,
Uh,
oh
that
two,
we're at like late '90s, early aughts,
oh two.
and
It's
it's
literally
O two,
2002.
O2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it is such a kind of culturally specific moment
Hmm.
to touch on, and I don't know that we've had a lot of stuff kind of set at that time
Well, I'm gonna tell you,
necessarily.
Ian, we're probably gonna get a lot more because that was 20 years ago now.
Yeah, I mean
And
you're
guess
right.
what? We were making 80s movies about the 80s back in the odds. So
That's true. Well, listen, when I get around to my stuff, almost all of it's 90s shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I absolutely agree. I think that like a lot of the kind of strength that it has is putting a kind of fun spin on something very, very relatable.
Yeah.
Like for example, like May not being able to go to her parents for money,
Mm.
and so she has to kind of like make a school hustle.
Yeah. Super.
I knew kids who
super
did shit
relatable.
like that all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
Or what was the line from her skater friend? Well, you never see her skate, but she has the skater attire that was very prevalent in the
yeah,
aughts.
yeah,
Where she's like, my parents said if I have to pay for it myself with my own
yeah,
money, and I was
yeah,
like, man, that was the exact fucking line I was told when I wanted to go to concerts growing up.
yep.
That's why I went to $10 shows every, and now I actually love $10 shows as opposed to big ones. But
You get more
yeah,
intimacy. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that was all really good. I was. Oh, can we talk about the song for a minute?
Sure, which song?
The song "Never Not Next to You." I
Oh, the
think is
Four Town one.
the Four Town song.
Yeah.
Which was one I was very surprised when the credits rolled. It turned out that it was Billie Eilish that wrote that.
Yeah, and her brother's the one singing.
What?
Yeah, Nick was the one telling me about this.
I did not know that. I did not know that at all. Oh my goodness. But it also gave me a kind of Goofy movie vibe. Did anybody else get that at all
I
when
can
you get to
see
Four
that.
Town?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. You know what? I can see that. I like the Goofy movie song better, but
Oh, definitely. But
but that's probably because of our ages, and that one's supposed to be like straight up like a boy band like
yes,
song, right? So
and
whereas the Goofy
that
one's Michael Jackson.
Michael
Yeah.
and a little of Prince mixed in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very I was very delighted by that. But by the time you get to that kind of whole setup where they're hanging off the wires and they're angels, I was like, oh, this kind of makes me think about Max Goof. That's funny.
Nice, yeah. It actually reminds me. I gotta find the video, but wasn't there a video of the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC coming down on like wires and flying into a stadium,
Yes.
and no music's playing? They're just flying in with something,
Yep.
and then it takes them a while to get the harnesses off. The crowd's fucking going nuts. So that's what that reminded me of.
For sure.
Okay. Can I say maybe one of my new favorite Pixar villains, because we haven't really had a Pixar villain in a long time, like a villain.
Yeah.
But and this character is probably not a villain, but I like him either way. Tyler's fucking hilarious.
Tyler's like one of the best things that have ever
Tyler's
happened.
like one of the best things in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
What a little fucking shithead.
What a little piece of shit. And like the thing is, like, he is so to the T a character that you know growing up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He is to the letter, like stirring shit up, always kind of needling you. And then absolutely someone who loves the shit he likes to rag on other people about.
Oh yeah.
Fucking what I love that character.
I love Tyler. Oh my god, like his facial expressions when he's just laughing. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my god, his laughs sound like when I do my like the way I laugh when I stick my tongue out and just like, what a fucking dork.
Like he goes cross-eyed every time he does an evil laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think my favorite part of this film, from a technical perspective, is just like it's really well paced. Like I'm pretty blown away. There isn't really any boring moments, at least I can think of.
No, it's a good ride the entire way through. That was another. Yeah, you're totally right. Now that I'm thinking about it, like when I rewatched it last night, just how like Oh, I'm still tagging along for the ride. I'm not distracted or anything. Like this is and before I knew it, it was over. Like
And
I enjoyed
you
it that
know,
much.
to the point of your, I absolutely agree with you, boys.
Yeah.
To the idea of the pacing,
Mhm.
I want to point out like the editing is unusual in a great way,
Yeah.
in that this movie has so much in quotations camera movement.
Yeah.
There's so many shots that are like, profile shot, enter the store, the camera slides along the aisle and follows
Yeah.
this kind of 360. It's really interesting, and I think is something that's becoming more and more normal.
Mhm.
Where in my mind at least, and I may be wrong. I think the norm in animation is more static camera placement. In quotations, like
Mm. As
in
opposed to
animation,
dynamic.
exactly. In
Yeah.
in a lot of I don't think animation. I think in animation, I notice it more when you have a perspective shift in the scene.
Yeah.
As
Okay. I know what
uh,
you're
but
saying now.
but fantastic stuff. It makes you really feel like you're in a space. You're
Absolutely.
in there with the characters
Mhm.
wherever they are. So yeah.
100%. So I know we hit the 15-minute mark, so I'm just gonna make a couple of big notices without diving too deep.
Okay.
I'm super ashamed I didn't notice at first that the panda's name at the temple entrance are Bart and Lisa. Totally missed
Oh
that
my god.
the first
Right.
time. Second, James Hong, always just happy to hear him and to see him in something.
He's amazing.
I don't mean to sound mean, but
Yeah.
were you surprised that he was alive? Were you slightly surprised?
Were you
Because
bummed
he's
out?
been old my entire life.
Yeah. Exactly. He's been fucking old since the 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
So no, I don't blame you.
like, oh
Damn.
shit, that guy's still working. Oh, good for him. Good for
Yeah.
him.
All the anime references, those backgrounds are straight up from like Sailor Moon. There's a Sailor Moon transformation thing.
Yes.
The mom does a Dio pose at some
Yes.
point.
If anybody watched Nora from Queens,
Yeah.
Aquafina's grandmother is one of the aunties in this, and she's just very funny. She's a
Yeah,
very
I
funny woman.
did hear that. I haven't seen that show, but I have heard the show. What was the? It was gonna be one more thing. Oh, the scene with the mom, at the end when they go into the Red Panda World Zone,
Mhm.
uh, and what she looked like as a kid.
Yeah.
I totally like that of just all this anger and trauma coming out. That you're
Yeah.
just back to the she feels after she's back to being a child again,
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah.
never left. That's real. That's again. And of
Mhm.
course, I'll end on a fun one. The convenience store scene is so fucking good,
Oh.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's so obviously a real story that happened to
Oh yeah.
her that I had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Uh,
A+.
did that? I want to know what was the reaction to the room, because when we watched it, you're just silent, dead silent. You don't move.
Oh,
You're just kind of stuck,
I
and you
was
start to.
laughing so fucking hard. I thought it was so. I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious. I'm like with Tyler at that point,
You freak.
where he's doing the finger pointing and like, holy shit, this is fucking happening. Like
You piece of shit.
that was hilarious.
That's very funny.
Listen, I got over my shit, I think, and and,
No.
well, and I was like perfectly fine.
Fuck.
It's great. It's great. Oh, we'll say this best joke in the movie that or at least most underrated joke, and one
Mhm.
that I think I totally would have written, or it feels like something I would write.
Mhm.
Is when Mei Mei's going on her first rampage, and she passes by the convenience store or rampage. She's trying to get home.
Oh
Uh,
yes, yes,
and she
I know.
stops, starts patting her foot, and
Yeah.
says "Auga,"
Yep.
and then leaves.
Yep. Very
And
good.
then I'm like, what fucking child is gonna know what a ooga? Like, that's something I would write just to have like an old timey
Cartoon reference.
cartoon thing of just going, oh, or hubba hubba, something like
And then
that.
she sticks her finger and her pinky in her mouth, and she goes.
Or like one of them does like a Three Stooges movie. They go like one.
Anyway, yeah, seeing red. What a time. What a good
Turning
time.
Red.
Turning red. Turning red.
It's great, fantastic. Any last thoughts before we end the spoiler thing?
No.
Cool.
This is a great movie.
It's a
It
great
is.
movie. Fantastic. Anything because I want to give Ian time to talk about this thing. Did I Super Crooks, Turning Red?
The flag.
I watched the French Dispatch
Oh,
because
nice.
me and Ian kind of talked about it when we hung out the other day.
Yeah.
Not much to say about that movie because it's good, it's funny. Well, probably the big thing is it is one of the most indulgent
Oh yeah.
things I've ever watched. And I loved it because it happened to be about shit I like.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could watch this movie if I wasn't into writing. Like,
Yeah.
it's so into the thing it loves. And like,
It is an incredible narrow cast.
yeah.
Absolutely. It is for people who give a shit about Miller and fucking Joyce and
Yeah.
fucking Baldwin, and like if you don't, well, this maybe is not the movie for you. But it's
Yes.
if it is, this movie is made for you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before I move on from that, I will say two favorite stories are the James Baldwin story is like my favorite one. And then the artist one.
So good.
Really
Yeah.
great. Yes. Nick, anything to say about the movie before I just talk about Elden Ring for a little bit?
I mean, I guess now the question is, how do I compare it to Isle of Dogs? That's
I think I might like French Dispatch more.
I think so too. But
yeah.
But again, it is
I don't want to.
so because it's so indulgent, right? Like it feels
is,
like
dude.
it feels like a dessert. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
and I don't
I
want
like
to
the
say
guy-
my favorite part of the meal was the dessert.
You know what? I'm biased because of the 2D animated portion.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Fuck, that was
awesome.
fantastic, dude.
The fucking strongman goes through the window and then comes back.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Very good. Fuck.
Hell yeah.
That one threw me for a loop. I'm a sucker for those kind of like compilation stories, so I love it.
Yeah, same here. Somebody's great. All right, now Elden Ring, which anyone who follows the streams knows the thing about
Okay.
Elden Ring. I will say this: I haven't beaten it. I don't know how big this game is. Ian, what if I told you? Okay, you're given a map, Ian, at the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, the fucking game. You're like, okay, I can do this. That's enough place. And then you get another piece of the map, and then all of a sudden, the border that contained that first piece expands to contain the second one. And then you get another one, and it keeps expanding and expanding. So you actually don't know how big this fucking game is. And now I think I've expanded the wide thing all the way, but I don't know. I don't know that for sure. And then what if I told you that upon seeing the biggest map you've seen in any video game, we're talking like Skyrim level.
Okay.
But with the density of Breath of the Wild.
Fuck me. Okay.
You find out there's an underground.
Oh.
And there's multiple underground areas.
And
they're big. And they're also dense. And then you just don't know. You just don't know how big this fucking game is. It's great.
Well,
I'm having so much fun.
That sounds fun.
I'm having such a blast as a Souls fan. This is like as Oh boy, this is like a forever game.
Okay.
This is a game I'll be playing forever. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Okay.
As far as like the story, it probably has the most story of any FromSoft game,
Mhm.
which makes sense if you're gonna hire George R. R. Martin to do some of the writing.
Oh, I
You're
didn't.
gonna milk. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, that was their
I
big
had not
get.
heard.
So
But
funny enough, funny story about that. They got George R. R. Martin, right?
yeah.
But there's another fantasy writer. I think it's like what, the Wheels of Time. Any of
Oh,
that's the
yeah, I
show.
know that. Yeah.
No. So another big fantasy writer. Apparently, that guy is a huge Souls fan. Has been playing all of them and plays them multiple times.
Okay.
And has had story ideas. And in an interview, he said, "But yeah, they went with George. I was never asked or
Fuck.
anything." And George R. R. Martin's never played a fucking video game.
George R. R. Martin's like 80. Of course, he's never played a
Yeah,
video.
and
Perfect timing.
it's and then it's like I feel for the guys. He sounds like he's taking it well in the interview.
Yeah.
I don't know what his personal feelings are,
Right.
but I'm like, man, dude, that sucks because they just got him for like Game of Thrones and shit.
Yep.
George R. R.
Yep.
Martin. But yeah, so finding out what his writings are showing up kind of comes along in the main story. I feel like, or a lot to do with the family that you're killing, because there's some incest going on, and you're like, yeah, it's probably grim. That's probably that's probably it. Um, Other than that, the game's great. It's the kind of atmosphere I love walking through. It's kind of dreary, but like it's a somber, dreary, but also there's like signs of it, like dignity or stuff in past. Um, One horror writer was talking about how like the art style towards the end doesn't remind him actually as much of like cosmic horror as like Bloodborne did, but instead it brings up memories of like 70s and 60s sci-fi horror.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, as soon as he said, I went, "Oh, that's totally what it is. That's
Oh.
100%." These are like walking through paintings of like Wayne Barlow and
Mm.
Zdislaw Beskinsky and other artists from that era or around
Mhm.
that time.
Mm.
It's everything I wanted, and I didn't know I wanted that, and it's great, and I love it. I don't think I can give an unbiased opinion on this game either.
Okay.
But yeah, this game's something special. Like it astonishes me how good it's remaining throughout this entire journey. And I'm 110 hours in, and I don't know. I don't know how much longer. Now, to be fair, I am scraping all the stuff. I'm like ridding and like trying to make sure I find everything, and I know I'm missing shit.
Right.
But so that's one of the reasons I'm going slow. But yeah, it's good. Elden Ring's good. Big surprise from Chris.
Oh wow, everyone! Oh
I know.
wow!
Oh wow,
The game good.
the game good. And streams will continue on this Twitch channel. Hopefully tomorrow.
Mhm.
So
Stay
look out for
tuned.
that. Okay, I'm done. Ian, so what's going on?
And now I clean up the scraps. Here we
That's
go,
right.
gang. By the way, so I know we've talked about the novel Final Girl Support Group, and how much I really liked it. Did I get a chance to talk about Clown in a Cornfield?
No.
I don't think I did. Yeah, I finished it a while ago, but I think it was right after our last record.
Okay.
So that'll be my book recommendation. Clown in a Cornfield is a new horror novel by Adam Caesar.
Okay.
And I kind of went into it with the expectation that you were going to get essentially like a slasher story, but in a book form.
Yeah.
And you more or less do. You get like a really fun modern take on a good old fashioned slasher story, but set in the present. And honestly, here's what I want to say about the book: is it really hits all the notes that if you're a fan of slasher movies that you look for,
Yeah.
which is one, it is ultimately a good slasher movie to me is just a very bloody mystery story. It's
Okay.
who is the killer and what's the motive.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so you get that element of the story, and I think the other thing that it does very well is it makes the teen protagonists feel both real and likable. So you so I think even when you have like kind of a bad kid, like the kid who talks out in class and things like that, you're like, I still don't want to see that kid get stabbed real bad. Like, he's just a sassy teen. He doesn't. This is unnecessary. I would highly recommend it. It was a quick read. I think I finished it in like a day and a half.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen it
yeah.
recommended somewhere, other places too, because I just recognized the cover.
It came highly recommended. It was pumped up by Stephen Graham Jones, who's a great Native American author who I recommend, and he was also pumped up by Clive Barker.
Oh wow!
So fucking, it doesn't get much higher on the compliment totem pole than that. So
no. Stephen King comes out and goes book of the century.
Fuck me. You've got to go buy it now. You have no choice.
Yeah.
You've been told by the king. But yeah, I think it's a really fun read. Characters are super likable. I think that it kind of... I'm trying not to necessarily spoil things, but
yeah,
I think that it achieves things in the story that are interesting and modern.
Okay.
And here's literally, actually, if I was gonna pick something to say as a negative about it, the only thing I could really say, chapter 2, there's like a reference to a social media website, and I was like, oh god, because it was one so specific that I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a real teen social media site, and two, it was something where I was like, this was a part of a fad, so I'm pretty sure you wrote this in 2007, and then you edited it because nobody talks about that particular website anymore.
Gotcha.
So I'd say the one downside is you accidentally put a date label on this book.
Gotcha.
And you could have kind of made it a little more plastic, but that one fucking word fucked you over a little bit there. But
okay.
Otherwise, nothing really bad to say. It moves at a clip. I like the characters. The tension is excellent. Highly recommend, guys. I'm kind of curious now because it seems like the slasher has become a marketable novel genre.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just because, so I picked up Stephen Graham Jones' new book, My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Okay.
About a slasher on a Blackfoot reservation.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten into that one yet, but I'm really excited just because between that and fucking Last Girl's Support Group, it feels like slasher genre as a novel is kind of doing the best of what my favorite parts of the genre, essentially. Like I said, making it a mystery story with some gruesome crime and then, some characters that I really give a shit about. So, yeah.
That does sound pretty rad, actually. I might actually check it
out. So that'll be my book recommendation.
Yeah.
I'll briefly mention I read I've been reading a history book for this research thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it'll be really short, but the book I'm reading is called a brief description of the destruction of the Indies.
Okay.
It's written by Bartolomeo de Casa, and it's basically describing what happened when Europe showed up in America.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I actually saw. I'm going to end it with just a meme that I saw that I think describes the book really well. Do you remember when Seinfeld was on a train next to a hairy naked man just riding the train next to him?
Yeah, they do.
And then the line is essentially, well, the joke's on you, buddy. I'm not ashamed. That's the problem. You should be ashamed. That's how I feel about the book, I guess. um, for anybody out there who's interested in history, potentially, I won't lie. It's a really dry, like very by the numbers, factual book written by a monk about what's going on in the Americas. But I don't know. I'm interested in that history.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Damn, girl. That's why. You book with the monk. America sucks. The end.
I mean, hey, I didn't say it. I didn't say it this time. So I think we're getting better. So I have not watched a lot of movies, but I've watched a fuck ton of TV. So
okay. Oh yeah, how's that Gilded Age?
The season they finally had her coming out ball, and Mrs. Astor came. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Is her name really Mrs. Astor?
There's the historical figure Mrs. Astor is in the show.
I didn't know that was a historical figure. That makes a lot more sense because I always just assumed it was a joke you would do for a rich old lady.
Well, she is like a rich old lady. Yeah.
No, now it makes sense where that thing comes.
Yo, sorry, I haven't seen this show. Is it good? It looks good.
I like it.
It's up my alley.
I like it.
It looks up your alley. Right.
Yeah, my downtown alley. Anyway.
The funniest fucking shit. I just watched Nathan Lane talk about because Nathan Lane's in this. Nick and like Nathan Lane's talking.
Zian already knows. It can't be a serious conversation if I'm talking about this.
But I loved getting to hear like Nathan Lane's talking about like, yeah, the writers are all very strict about like enunciation and the dialect of the period, and he's like, people think I'm doing a bit, but there was apparently he then goes on. There was a real Ward McAllister who was friends with Mrs. Astor, and he had a fucking Yosemite Sam mustache, and he talked like a fucking cartoon character.
That's the first thing I saw was that image. I was like, damn, I gotta watch this.
Yeah, you gotta watch this one.
That's the only character I have like an interest in, and I want to just see the scenes.
He's definitely worth the entry ticket alone. Okay. Let me assure you.
Okay. So, are you completely turned around on the genre, or is it just a show?
Is it good or?
Shit, man, I don't know. So here's the thing: like, I did watch the first 3 years of Downton Abbey, and I liked those, and then I stopped because everybody said don't watch the rest of it; it's bad. So I stopped watching it, and then I tried Belgravia, which is written and directed by the same people, and that one I could not get into at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm turning the corner on this one. We'll have to see. I think it's also the people they had cast. I think the cast is just fucking real good.
Oh, okay.
The lady who plays there's a lot of characters, so forgive me if I blank on people's names, but
that's fine. You can make up names and I will believe you.
So Martha's auntie is played by the Grinch's girlfriend, and I just think she's so good. She's such a cold fucking piece of work. She's amazing. So saucy. But I do think it's kind of neat when occasionally real history starts to intersect with the show.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, that's potentially interesting, but I'd say the thing that I like least is the thing that's like the stereotype of the genre, which is like melodramatic romance.
Yeah.
Which it does have, but like that's one plot line and the rest of it is like ruthless industrialists kill people for money, or fucking the poor people have gambling problems just to survive in the wealthy world, or there's lots of other more interesting plot points I think happening. Mrs. Scott, the primary black character in the show, her story gets progressively it's really funny. While I was watching the finale, she has this big moment that's kind of the culmination of the series for her character. And I remember thinking, are we gonna have to fucking cut back to that white lady talking about her boy problems? Because that's so uninteresting compared to what's going on here.
Right.
But I guess I do like it. I like it, guys. So yeah.
I just hope it's good. It looks up my alley.
Yeah, I mean, give it a go and see what you might think. But the show I was actually going to talk about. I have another.
Let me just say, can I just say about the Gilded Age before we move on?
Please, yes.
I always knew.
Mhm.
I've been I've definitely in the minority for my view on these kinds of shows and stories. And having talked to people last night who love that kind of shit, and now hearing it from you, I'm realizing more and more just how alone I am on my stance.
Well, you just like things, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. I know, but they're rich people. They're it's all fine. It's all, everything's gonna be okay in the end.
See, the thing is, Chris is right. I have no fucking.
Right.
I don't have anything to say to him. It's you're right.
It's not that big of a deal. Nick, me and you talk about all the time how the joke with us is hard fantasy becomes dark fantasy when it's about the peasants and not about the rich people.
Yeah, I think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think it's really dark when you get in on those
the
dukes.
money. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's how Secession is such a oh my god, that in medieval, I would watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch that show.
I want to see a guy in a Brockus helm, right, and a big giant armor do his taxes.
Yeah.
Or
Sire, we're missing over 12 billion shillings.
Well, time to murder them all.
Exactly, and then he murders his accounting team. It's the perfect crime.
Anyway, I know I'm alone on that, and it's fine. It's one of those things fine. Of it's not everything's for you, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then of course I say then I love JoJo Part 1. That's because they're vampires, and they're there's fucking magic, and they're burning blood, and it's these buff dudes. It's big meaty men slapping meat. And it's so over the top, and it plays into the melodramatic.
Yes.
That I'd rather have that. I'd rather play into it.
I like the melodrama. I do like melodrama. I like when things are extra and
But it has to be that. It has to be ridiculous, right?
That's kind of what I try and tell people is the fun of movies from the 40s. Yeah. It's none of this is real. This is all so extra and so over the top.
Yeah.
That you have to remember that you're watching a movie. Yeah. And they marketing in those days was we don't want people to fucking forget that we have an A-list celebrity. This is a famous lady. She's beautiful. Watch her read lines.
You're gonna read a Coke ad. You're gonna love that shit. There's nothing else. We're new to all this. We don't know.
So I'm gonna jump in. I've got 2 shows to talk about on HBO Max.
Yeah, actually, go for it.
Besides The Gilded Age.
Yes.
And it's weirdly, I've been watching a bunch of stuff that it all technically is period piece.
Mm-hmm.
So the other show is Our Flag Means Death.
Oh, Nick and I watched that too. We finished it.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that show.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what'd you guys think?
hilarious. It's great.
fucking-
You know, it's
It's so
funny.
good.
I started watching that show. Oh, and this is another. I was gonna wait till I finish it to kind of see
Mhm.
what my full opinion is, but I
Yeah.
started watching Miracle Workers as well. At the same time,
Mhm.
but I kept going to Our Flag Means Death because I thought it was funnier, and I thought,
Yes.
and I enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
Tiger Waititi as Blackbeard is a great role,
Yes, it is.
and to the
Yeah.
point where I was like, I think I think he produced this show just so he can play Blackbeard.
I would do the same shit. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like, I was also thinking the whole time, wow, Hitler, now Blackbeard. Is there anything this guy can't do?
he can't. And he's always playing him as
Basically himself.
be himself. They're not to be taken seriously, like
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of shtick. But no, it's a fantastic show.
It's so funny. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's two things I want. Well, there's a few things I'll talk about briefly and just get through. Is one is I did not know that Stede Bonnet was a real pirate.
Yes, I did know that. I was really into pirates as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
Gentleman
he-
Pirate's a real person. Like that was a real pirate name.
That was his real title. Like he was
Yeah,
the
Gentleman Pirate is real. Yeah.
Yeah, super real.
And he genuinely apparently did pay his crew a weekly wage
Yes.
on top of the pillaging.
Yes.
What a fucking like! I really like that idea. That what's funny is how much of history the show can just pluck and say, yeah, actually, this is really funny. this is really funny.
Like, and it's one of the things you always have to keep in mind for pirates is it wasn't just like people who were into just pillaging and all that.
Yeah.
Piracy, a lot of it is that's where the rejects of society would go to.
Yeah.
Where you just didn't have anything. Because one, sailing sucks.
Yeah,
in
fucking
that time.
people die on the boat all the
It's
time.
Fucking shit. You're alone. You don't know where anything's happening. People die. You're not gonna have that great of food. There's always work and maintenance.
Yeah.
To the point where that's where the term Shanghaiing comes from, because they
Yeah.
would have to literally abduct drunks for the Navy
Yep.
and send them on there.
Yep.
So that's the thing to consider, that pirates are not gonna always be like the one note. That you do end up with even like Stede Bonnet's.
Yes.
Just does not fit in to where they're at.
Yeah. Too true. I absolutely agree. I loved that kind of. Well, I mean, I think that anything with Taika Waititi connected, I expect there to be like a lot of kind of character searching, like a lot of what is this character really about, and like the degree to which we get to know that crew that very easily could have been just joke characters.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
My first gut, like not knowing anything about the show, when I was watching the pilot, I thought, okay, so he's going to probably be a terrible captain, and then they'll keep killing off crew and bringing in new people.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that's what they were going to do. And, like, that'd be funny for a while, but they went a different way, and they just dig into the depth of these people deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And they just keep giving them, like, little bits of really interesting character work to do. Love that stuff.
Absolutely.
I remember when I was watching. How long into the show that you guys were watching did you start to say to yourself, "Is this getting gay? Is this show?"
I think like episode 2.
Okay.
That's how all piracy ends, because you know you're just with a bunch of dudes in the ocean, like
And again, it goes back to societal rejects. Like,
one's gonna give us some booty, you know.
Yeah. Anything goes out there, man.
And I need you.
Yeah. They're definitely not gonna stay in the places that would like burn them or like hang.
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I mean, but I guess I was kind of like, here's where I was kind of impressed. I'm saying this absolutely as a as a blessing to the show.
Yeah.
Like you get the establishment of a regular reoccurring character that's gay,
Yes.
and you're like, okay, this is interesting, and he's got a relationship, and that's developing. And I was like, I think that if the show was made 10 years ago, that would have been the gay storyline.
Yeah.
But then it just keeps getting gayer each episode.
Yeah.
Until you have, oh no, he's in love with Blackbeard. Like,
yeah.
they're in love.
Yeah.
And I think maybe as an affect of me growing up in the 90s, I was like, think what? They can't do that on TV? What?
I don't know what to tell you. You just got to get with the times, man.
This is just, how dare you? I'm writing. But yeah, it was. I was shocked and like kind of amazed, all in the best of ways. I mean it, but like I was like, holy shit, they really went for this. Okay, cool. So I mean, all of that was fantastic, and I also liked Act of Mercy. That was such a good storyline, and also pulling from the idea of the buccaneering system of the British Navy.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Really cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, for that show, please watch it, everybody. It's such a funny, smart show that has really interesting stuff. What was the cameo that surprised you guys the most?
Cameo that surprised me the most. Good question. Oh. Maybe no. Okay, so I thought Patton Oswalt was in the show.
I don't think he is.
At some, well, here's the thing. Here's what I thought. It's the episode with Nick Kroll and
Kristen Shaw. Yeah, I love that episode. Very funny.
Yeah, fantastic episode. I thought he was one of the background characters, and I couldn't recognize him.
Okay.
That time, I don't think it is though. I think they did do a close up on that person, and I was like, no, that's not.
Okay.
That's not him.
Can I just say I do love the joke of, we'll let you in on our pyramid scheme.
Yeah, that whole bit's
excellent.
Great, excellent. What cameo surprised you the most?
I'm gonna either say Leslie Jones was a surprise, and that she's like a pretty major character on the show.
Yeah, I can see that, and she's doing that character well too.
I'd say, God, Tim Heidecker. That kind of blew me away.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
He's like the normal guy. He's the most normal guy.
Dude. Yeah.
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 But
yeah, the show's great.
Yeah. Good times. All right, my second HBO Max series that I want everybody to check out is Minx. I just think it's so good, guys. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah, is that good? Is that
the Laker one?
No, that's Winning Time, I believe is what it's called. I've only seen the pilot, which I did like, but I just didn't finish it yet.
Yeah.
Minx is also set in LA in the 70s. The other end, though. Winning Time is 79, I believe. Minx is 71. So the general setup is there is this woman who's really interested in women's liberation, second wave feminism, and she wants to try and get a feminist magazine published. More than likely, she's being inspired by kind of the works of Madeleine Albright and other big ERA feminists of the 70s.
Yeah.
So the essential idea is that all the people who are publishers are men, and all the men just don't get it and don't think that she's very marketable. So the hot guy from New Girl, I don't remember anybody.
I haven't seen New Girl.
The Jewish guy from New Girl. Anyway, so this guy comes in, kind of a slick wheeler and dealer, and offers her to to pick up and publish her magazine,
Yeah.
with the understanding that it would then also try and develop something called the female gaze. So you can publish your feminist articles, but I want nude gentlemen in it, and
Okay.
that's how we're going to market your kind of unpalatable political ideology.
Okay.
Uh,
It's so harsh, but that's like probably true. For, for that time.
Yeah. And I don't know, guys. So they're releasing 2 episodes every Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
It's a half-hour show, but honestly, I think it works better as an hour block. It just
Okay.
it fucking flies by. It's really good.
Interesting.
I don't know exactly what else I could necessarily say about it. There's nothing really to spoil, but it's just kind of experiencing, you know. So for example, something that like I'm a sucker for, and we've said before, is when the show does a place I've been, and I can go, I know that place. So they have a plot line.
Okay.
Wherein they deal with this idea that even in the 1970s, technically porn studios were on the border of legality. Like, there were a lot of police stations, even in LA, that would raid them and, you know, make spurious claims to try and shut them down or lose them money or lose them business. So, like, there's this reoccurring thing wherein you suddenly have like conflicts with the San Fernando like Chamber of Commerce who are trying to push out the publishing house from San Fernando Valley. And then you have the other end of it, which is like this woman who's kind of got no people skills, and she's only kind of an academic around the ideas of feminism and like cultural ideology, having to like manage a team and to be a team player. And so she gets to teach her employees about what feminism means, and they get to teach her how to do business, because essentially all the models and all the people, like, it's been such a small operation that even the girls who pose know how the business side of it works because they've had to do it themselves. And this idea of, okay, you understand feminism in theory, but we need to try and use this in practice. Like, what does that actually look like? Okay, and so a selling point that is not going to necessarily be for you two gentlemen, but I'll say for the audience.
Oh, okay.
Is
I'll just be here then.
one of the other selling points of the show Minx is that they kind of make repeated reference to the idea that the market is unequal in this idea of the viewer, that the viewer who gets to look at the body is almost always men. And that's why there's so many boobies on TV and magazines. And so
literally the male gaze.
Literally the male gaze. And
that's
so
true.
the show, in trying to address the idea of building a female gaze, does like literally do it. Like, they don't just so not to drag on too long, but to make it concise, if anybody out there knows about the movie The Full Monty, there's this movie about like men getting used to the idea of ladies looking at them taking their clothes off so that they can, you know, support their families, etc., etc.
Yes.
But the end of that movie, they don't actually show you the full Monty. None of those gentlemen actually get undressed on camera for the audience.
No one's slinging dong.
Right.
They better be.
You guys, this show has more sausage than a pork factory, I assure you. It is
okay.
a whole lot. So, but like I guess I what I would say is it at least has an ideologic consistency. Like, the show is preaching, there should be an equality. If we're going to show so many nude ladies, and they do show a lot of nude ladies, we should also show nude gentlemen. That's equality.
There's something for everyone.
Exactly. So it is a really funny show, by the way. It's written by a lot of the people who worked on the Schur shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who worked on Parks and Rec. There's folks who worked on fucking New Girl.
Yeah.
So they're funny. It's fun. It's a funny show. It's like a good comedy drama. And I also like to watch people shit on Pasadena. So I mean, I love it. I love it. And then I'll quickly. I know we're almost out of time, so I'll just barrel through this last one. I finished Pam and Tommy.
Oh. Okay.
Which has anybody else seen that?
No, I know of it.
You know, guys, I'm gonna say that I think it's overall good, but it has a lot of fat on it.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, there's scenes that I just kind of jump through because I feel like we weren't moving the plot.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's a good show. I think it's a solid B-. It's a very, very good. It's very funny.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of information that kind of blew me away. That I then like because I basically watched it the way I watched the O.J. Simpson show. I kept Googling like, oh, did that really happen? Oh, what about this? And yeah, it is a very interesting story. If you as a listener were interested when I talked about Woodstock '99 on one of our previous episodes, this show is gonna kind of hit on a lot of those same ideas of Pam Anderson having a real bad time. And
that's the one thing I was for that show I was thinking of, like, because Pam Anderson got the real short end of that stick, like when that whole thing was said and done.
Well, a thing I didn't fucking know about. So there's a lawsuit that happens eventually. Yeah. There's actually several, but one of the main ones that the show focuses on is Tommy Lee found out that the editor of Playboy had a copy of the sex tape. And so Tommy immediate response was to call his lawyer because he said, that motherfucker's definitely going to publish stuff. Yeah. He's going to put it in. And Pam said, how do you know that? And he's like, well, you're friends with Hef. He's definitely going to want to fuck you over. He's like, I've never met him. And what ends up happening is the lawsuit pushes their hand. It goes to court. And then despite Tommy Lee, like, fuck you, he publishes them anyway. And then when Pam has to be brought, and then when they have to do like deposition, like pre-trial shit, Tommy is not on the dossier at all. The only person who gets grilled by the attorneys is Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah. And of course this whole implication that, you know.
Oh, hang on. You kind of got out there.
Sorry. And of course this whole implication that runs throughout, which is, well, you used to take your clothes off for money. I think that's a sex act. Who's to say you don't do other sex things for money, Pam Anderson? How do I know this isn't you trying to play me? Because we all think you're a whore. It's what it all boils down to.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a really interesting show. I honestly think that it strikes an interesting balance, basically splitting the story between the kind of royalty of LA, which is Pam and Tommy at this time, and this guy, Glenn, who stole the sex tape and sold it, who is living the most sad life I think I've seen a character live, and that's Seth Rogen's character.
Yeah.
And also a fucking blow away. I know we got to wrap it up. I'm sorry, guys, but one last thing is another blow away to me is that dude never faced any legal consequence for breaking into that house and stealing their shit and then selling their tape. Nothing ever happened to that guy. Like, and the fact of how many people got their lives fucked up in this story, it's kind of mind-blowing that it never hit Tommy and it never hit Glenn. It was, that's... Anyway, I recommend it. even though it is slow in places, I think it's worth watching. If you're someone like me who was really into The People versus O.J. Simpson or the movie mid-90s, I think it's a great kind of cultural moment to reflect on.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's wrap this up. What are y'all looking forward to? And then we'll end on. I have a question that will be a good segue. A little bit behind the scenes there.
Okay.
Nick, what are you looking forward to? Go.
I am looking forward to thinking and
That's great.
No,
Ian, what are you looking forward to?
I'm gonna go watch that Footy Cootie trailer right now. I'm gonna go fucking. I can't wait. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. All right. Nick.
Looking forward to Batman.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Batman
yeah.
either, so I'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think No Way Home's finally coming on streaming services, so I might.
Yeah, watch that.
Tight.
Watch the superhero.
For me, just more Elden Ring. It's gonna be Elden Ring. It's gonna be work.
Nonstop.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land came out, and as a big Kirby fan, I need to play that too.
Okay.
So I need to play. But yeah, more Elden Ring streams. Look forward to that. I think I'm gonna have one Monday, and I try to release the schedules every Monday or Sunday. So I'll probably actually release it tomorrow, and then we'll see. Okay. Other than that, one last question to take us out of here, Ian. If you had to have one thing revealed to the world, would it be either A, your internet history, or B, your calculator history?
Calculator history.
Oh God, you guys are all cowards. I swear. Like,
Chris,
I ask people this all the time.
It's just numbers.
It's just numbers.
The real question is the question there being like, would you rather look dumb, or would you rather look
Horny.
like a deviant? Yeah.
I thought the question was, would you rather have people know how much you make or what you whack it to? Like that's where I was.
Oh no! Now I'm not what you mean. I mean, like, you looked up one day what's like complex. 54 plus 20 or something.
Well, what if I don't know. I could have been drunk at the time. I'm not ashamed of that.
You can say that about the internet too, man. But
that's what the calculator's for. So you don't have to think.
That's right. That's right. You tell him. You tell him.
Chris, why the fuck would they make this calculator if you're just gonna shit on people?
So I
use the calculator. I'm stupid.
So the thing I've learned from this question is that people have a lot different priorities.
Yeah.
From stuff. It's just what part of you are you willing to accept?
The horny part or the dumb part?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a religious thing. I'm gonna be frank with all of us. I think the idea of our deviancy growing up to be pushed down and hidden.
If it's that kind of question you're after, I will let you know. Some of my internet history is related to religious deviancy, for sure. That's a given. You can't.
All right, we'll end it there. Good night, everybody. Or
good night,
morning, whatever. Bye.
Bye.
Huh? I think you're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, your first plan should be getting by us.
Though you call yourselves bladers, you don't know the real truth about bay blading. There is a tremendous power hidden within bays. Since ancient times, the existence of bays can be found in moments throughout history. The power of Beyblades have been used to change the course of rivers and oceans. They have been used to defeat many armies and create huge empires.
You wouldn't be so tough without that helmet, little brother.
You're on, Proto Man. Plasma power! Missed me again, number one, son.
But I won't miss this time.
Oh no! He's gonna blast President Lincoln!
risk yourself for Mr. Lincoln.
Simpson scandal update. Homer sleeps nude in an oxygen tent, which he believes gives him sexual powers.
Hey, that's a half-truth.
Shara, will you grant me one more wish? I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry, as much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
Well, sir, treason season started early this year as a nuclear sub was hijacked by local man Homer Simpson.
Oh my God! I told him that photo would come back to haunt him.
Could Homer Simpson be a communist? His father spoke out on his behalf.
My Homer is not a communist. He may be a liar, a pig, an idiot, a communist, but he is not a porn star.
Hero call! This trap card lets me pick a monster and put him on the top of my deck. And I choose this. Elemental hero, Neos. Not so fast. Thanks to my state select spell, he won't be there for long. Cause now I get to shuffle your deck. So how do you like this? Bada bing! I'll shuffle these boys real good.
でも先輩結構みんなに優しいじゃん。なんか声かけてくれたりとか。でも香水もらったらなんかわかんないくれるって。嘘好きすぎるのすっごい恥ずかしい。うわ明日バイトなんだけど。いつでもそこに。マジで
Iris.
Sarah.
Hang in there, Iris.
Please, stay away from Replifos. Let's live together. In a world where only Reploids exist.
Iris, there's no world just for Reploid. It's only a fantasy.
Yes, I know, but I wanted to believe it. I wanted to live in a world where only Reploids exist with you.
Iris! 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 Ah! No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on. What am I fighting for?
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey everybody, I'm done trick-or-treating and now I'm gonna go for a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut. Yay!
Not yet, Pizza Head. There's one more place to go.
I don't think anyone's home.
Sure there is.
Hello, trick-or-treat. Interesting hieroglyphics on this pizza.
Quick, Pizza Head, let's go upstairs.
Hey, who is here anyway?
It's your host, Count Steve.
Oh, nice place. You gotta... I wanna go to Pizza Hut now!
The Count will be happy to give you a lift.
Hey, put me down! Put me down!
See you next time.
I know a place that's peaceful and quiet. A place where animals play. It's called the forest, but every year we start forest fires. A careless match or cigarette and poof, fire. So the next time you're in the forest, be extra careful, okay?
If you knew it was me, would you have listened?
Will you hold it down out there? You guys are always fighting!
Enid Clinton, we've got business with your husband. What? John? Hal Jordan, another time shift. I'm up to speed. Carry on. No booby traps. At least none that my ring can detect.
Make up your mind, would you?
뭐냐?
Have you noticed any change in Bart?
New glasses?
No, he looks like something might be disturbing him.
Probably misses his old glasses.
I guess we could get more involved in Bart's activities, but then I'd be afraid of smothering him.
Yeah, and then we'd get the chair.
That's not what I meant.
It was, Marge, admit it.
What's so special about Splinter?
Yo, dude, it's like Splinter's our dad, you know? I mean, what's so special about your dad?
Pepsi for TV game.
Mmm, 64 slices of American cheese. 64. 63. 2. 1.
Have you been up all night eating cheese?
I think I'm blind.
Good day to you.
My mother risked her life for me. And now you, too. I should have saved you. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
You
I defeated you once, and I shall do it again!
No, Magneto. I let you in before, in order to learn your plan, to trap you. But now the victory belongs to the Fantastic Four.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power? No mere weapon can stop me. With but a gesture, I can destroy it, or turn it against you. Behold! I'll make it leap from your hand, and make you its target. Now!
Not this time, Magneto. This time I'm fighting for real.
It's impossible! It cannot be! Nothing can defy my magnetic power!
The Fantastic Four can. You're finished, Magneto. Surrender. You have no other choice.
Why? Why will the gun not obey me? My power is gone. I'm helpless. Magnetism. It was my greatest weapon.
Okay, Richards. We'll take care of him now.
First tell me, how did you do it? How did you take away my power?
I didn't, Magneto. I merely tricked you.
You lie. I couldn't control your gun. You made me lose my magnetism.
You're wrong. I just guessed that you'd overlook one simple thing. Your magnetic power only works on metal, like all magnets. But my gun isn't real. I made it out of wood, specially to fool you.
Wood? A wooden gun?
That's why your power didn't work. And it's why you're a prisoner of the police now. Take him away, men.
A wooden gun. He tricked me with a wooden gun.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Oh, you got it.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they called Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 B's for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. They didn't have white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get was those big yellow ones.
Stop!